Hello dear children, welcome back to video classes. Let's continue with Louis Pasteur's story. We will continue with paragraph number 18. Pasteur received many honors from French government, and in 1881 he came to a big medical congress in London. When he walked down the hall, there was a storm of applause. He looked around, thinking that the cheers must be for some royal person. For Pasteur could hardly believe that the was meant for him. So far, we saw that Louis Pasteur was very successful in some of the public experiments he had conducted. This brought him name and fame, children, isn't it? So Louis Pasteur was honored by French government in 1881. He was recognized for his works. He was honored by medals and awards. He was invited to a big medical congress in London. Means it was a conference which was held in one of the city of London. So on that day when he walked into a big auditorium, a big hall where the medical conference was organized, many people had assembled there, and these people were not common people. They were all scientist children. They were all famous in their fields. When Louis Pasteur entered into such gathering, suddenly everybody rose. They gave a standing ovation to Louis Pasteur and welcomed him by applause. But Louis Pasteur was not knowing that they all were clapping for him. He thought behind him there must be somebody from royal family. So maybe they were cheering up to them. When he turned back, he found there was nobody. It was himself alone. Then he understood that all those people stood up to welcome him by clapping. This was a great honor, children, much greater than awards and medals. So Louis Pasteur deserved such kind of honor because of his great works. One of his last experiments was in connection with the terrible disease which attacks a person who is bitten by a dog with rabies, a mad dog as we call it. Pasteur had grown very sure about the power of inoculation and he decided to try out the same idea in cases of rabies. At that time, nearly everyone died who was bitten by a diseased dog. In 1885, Pasteur made his first experiment on a young Alsatian boy who came to him in Paris covered with bites from a mad dog. The boy's mother told Pasteur, "If you can cure animals, you can cure my son." So Pasteur inoculated him with some weak rabies germs and the boy recovered. Louis Pasteur was in Paris. Now, what we are studying was his last experiment, children. That time, a terrible disease was attacking a person. Whoever was bitten by a dog with rabies, a mad dog as we call it. So, a mad dog suffered from a disease called rabies. When this infected animal was biting any person, the person was getting attacked by that rabies disease. So, at that time, nearly everyone died who was bitten by a diseased dog. So, already Pasteur had understood about inoculation, that is, injecting weak germs. By public experiment, he had already proved how inoculation helps the diseased animal to recover. So, now he decided to try out the same idea in case of rabies. Pasteur was sure how powerfully the inoculation procedure works. So, in 1885, Pasteur made his first experiment on a young Alsatian boy who was attacked by a mad dog, children. He was brought to Louis Pasteur in Paris. The boy's mother pleaded Louis Pasteur by saying, "If you can cure animals, You can cure my son, because she believed that Pasteur had some magic powers who would be able to cure everybody. So Pasteur inoculated him with some weak rabies germs, and the boy recovered. So again, by this experiment, he proved his intelligence. Although Dr. Jenner had already discovered how to vaccinate against smallpox, he did not really understand about bacteria. Pasteur, after giving his life to this study, was able to prove the value of inoculation and to find out ways of varying it for different diseases. Although Dr. Jenner, who had already discovered the vaccination against smallpox, he did not really understood about bacteria, children. But Louis Pasteur, who had spent all his life in studying bacteria, understanding bacteria and how diseases are caused by bacteria, he was the person to prove the value of inoculation and was able to do much more in different ways for different diseases. During the First World War, 1914-18, the troops going abroad were inoculated against such diseases as typhoid and enteric fever. And a very low death rate from these illnesses among the troops, even in unhealthy places, was a great tribute to Pasteur's work. Pasteur helped his country in a big way. When First World War was broken out during 1914 and 18, the French troop the French troop had to go to different places to fight with enemies. There because of climatic conditions and unhygienic environment, the troop was getting attacked by typhoid and enteric fever. Enteric fever means the intestinal fever, children. Then Louis Pasteur created vaccine for these diseases. The troop was inoculated against such disease, because of which there uh, there was very low that rate of that rate of illnesses among the troops, even in unhealthy places also. He was a fighter against diseases. He was the conqueror of disease. It was a great tribute to Louis Pasteur's work. Pasteur's memory is still honored in the Institut Pasteur in Paris, where bacteriology is studied by men of all nations. See, there was an institute in Paris where bacteriology was studied. Many young minds were involved in this study. This institute was named after him, children. So it was called Institute Pasteur. Pasteur's memory is still honored in the Institut Pasteur in Paris, where bacteriology is studied by men of all nations. Means young minds were involved in this study, bacteriology. At the opening of the institute in 1888, Pasteur said, two opposing laws seem to me now in contest. Now, this is an important part of an essay, children. I request you to pay a lot of attention. The one, the one, a law of blood and death, opening out each day new methods of destruction, forces nations to be always ready for the battle. The other, the law, the law of peace, work, and health, whose only aim is to deliver man from the disasters which surrounded him. The one seeks violent conquests, the other the relief of mankind. Which of these two laws will prevail, God only knows. But of this we may be sure, that science, in obeying the law of humanity, will always labor to enlarge the frontiers of life. When the institute was opened in 1888, Pasteur addressed on the opening day. He said, two opposing laws seem to me now in contest. So he was talking about laws. The laws means these are not constitution or jurisdiction laws, children. The laws here means forces of nature. Pasture means here two powers of nature, and these two powers are wrestling with each other. One of these two laws is the law of blood and death. So, this kind of law was coming up with a kind of destruction. The second law was a law of peace. First law was related to the battlefield, whereas the second law was for freedom of mankind from diseases. The man is surrounded by diseases. So to make a man free from disease is what we can save them from disaster. He said. Pasteur was in confused state. He said that he don't know which law will prevail. Only God knows whether the law of destruction will win or the law of peace and love will win. I cannot say that. Only God knows. Further, he stated that he is pretty much sure that the law of humanity, the law that promotes harmony and love and peace, that law will widen the scope of science. So, science should always work for that law. A very important message he conveyed here, children. Science should always work for the law of peace and harmony. Science should never be used to make weapons. Science should never be used to cause harm for others. So the second law is good for science, he says. That is the law of peace. Someone who knew Pasteur well in his old age described him thus: very with deep lines on his face, the skin and beard both white, his hair still thick and nearly always covered with a black cap, the broad forehead wrinkled marked with lines of genius, the mouth slightly drawn by paralysis, but full of kindness, and above all, the living thought which still flashes from the eyes beneath the deep shadow of the eyebrows. So, this paragraph tells us about the Pasteur's appearance. What did the people say about him who had a chance to meet him? How he looked, how his appearance is. So somebody said, somebody. It is not described as. It is not mentioned as who particularly has described about Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur's appearance was very, he said, with deep lines. Very means children tired. With deep lines on his face, the skin and the beard with the skin and the beard both white. Obviously, it is true, children. He was tired because a person being so busy in experiments and discoveries appears like that. There were wrinkles on his face, his beard and skin both were white. He had thick hair on his head. Then he always wore black cap. He had large forehead which was wrinkled, and the mouth was slightly bent. It was slightly bent because of paralysis. Maybe he had got a paralysis attack, but still we can say a person, he was having a spark of light on his in his eyes. His when somebody observed his eyes, they used to say that he had his those eyes were still flash, having a flash of light, means a deep eyebrows. So when they say, when they look at the eyes of deep eyebrows, just they will say that an intelligent person, a genius person. Okay. On Pasteur's 70th birthday, his jubilee was celebrated almost like a national festival. Like Lord Lister, he was honored in his old age by the scientists of all nations. At the crowded meeting in a great hall of the University of Paris, the old man was too overcome to speak, and his speech was read to the distinguished audience by his son. Pasteur's 70th birthday was celebrated as a jubilee, children. It was celebrated like a national festival because he had won millions of people's hearts He had won hearts of many peoples. Same like Lord Lister had acknowledged many honors. So, like Lord Lister only, he too got honored, and his birthday was celebrated as national festival. It was 70th birthday. Pasteur was so old that he was not able to speak, so he wrote his speech in a piece of paper and asked his son to read what he has written in the paper. So he was not able to stand and talk to the people, children. It was a crowded hall. It was in a hall in the University of Paris. All had gathered. When it was asked to speak, Pasteur was not able to speak because of his weakness. He was old enough now. So he wrote his speech in a paper and he asked his son to speak on behalf of him. So, what is written in the piece of paper? Let's see. The future, he said, will belong to those who shall have done the most for suffering humanity. To the young students, he addressed a special word. First, ask yourself, what have I done for my education? Then, as you advance in life, what have I done for my country? So that someday that supreme happiness may come to you, the consciousness of having contributed in some measure to the progress and welfare of humanity. So he quoted like this. He said, the future will belong to those who shall have done the most for suffering humanity. Means the person who has done something for the welfare of the humanity, something he has done a changing means he has done something amazing things for the humanity, means the future it is belonging to those people, children. The future belongs to those people who think of the humanity, who think of the welfare of the humanity. This way it is. If the humanity is suffering, means we have to help them. Now to the young minds he addresses a special word actually. He tells them to ask two questions. And what are those two questions? The first question is, what have I done for my education? Means when you will be gaining the education, what you have done, and after gaining education, what you have done, and what is the purpose of your education, you have to find it, children. Then when you advance, you have to implement that education for the welfare of the country. Now this is the second question. What have I done for my country? Means after gaining the education, when you come and face the society, then you have to implement the knowledge for the welfare of the society. Then only you will get the supreme happiness. Same way here Louis Pasteur has done. How many experiments, how many inventions, how many discoveries he has done, children. That is a kind of uh, dedication he has shown, in a kind of implementation of his education he has done. He is the best example, we can say. Pasteur himself certainly knew that happiness. He died in 1895 when he was 75. So no name in science is more honored or will longer be remembered. See, Pasteur knew this happiness, children, the happiness of helping others, the happiness of finding the solution. So this way he addressed the young minds. Finally, he died in 1895 when he was the age of 75. He is very much remembered till now. Such a great scientist, because of his achievements, because of his experiments. Till now, he is remembered. He remained in the history. Till now, we are uh, very much thankful for him for his experiments and discoveries, children. We never forget him. He is remembered. That's all for today's session, children. I hope you have understood this lesson. So, this lesson completes here. Your work is to complete the assessment part of this lesson. Meet you in the next session. Thank you.